Hi everyone, welcome to Farm Day Adventures. My name is Paige and this is Dylan Lilly, and we are both Extension agents with NC Cooperative Extension. This week we are talking about peanuts grown in North Carolina, and we're going to be making an awesome little peanut protein snack to go along with it. In the last few weeks we've covered corn, cotton, and potatoes, so we encourage you to go check out those as well, and then follow along with the peanut edition using the handout provided. So this week we are going to be talking about peanuts grown specifically in North Carolina, and then we're going to be making a little snack called peanut butter protein balls. So all you're going to need for this is a cup of rolled oats, a fourth a cup of mini chocolate chips, half a cup of peanut butter, and 3 tablespoons of honey. That can be adjusted, though, to suit your liking. Some optional ingredients include flaxseed, raisins, vanilla, maybe coconut. So basically, I'm going to start to put this recipe together here in a bowl, and Dylan is going to talk about some of the awesome facts about peanuts.
All right. Well, I can't wait. I love this little snack. So peanuts are a really important crop to North Carolina. They're a multi-million-dollar crop. And you can see the little map I have down here at the bottom with the counties that highlighted that grow peanuts in North Carolina. So if you're familiar with North Carolina geography, that region that's highlighted there is called the Coastal Plain. So this area has sandy soils, well-drained. There's a great area for where North Carolina peanuts are grown. So as you can see, last year, or in 2018, there were 105,000 acres of peanuts grown in North Carolina. Out of those peanuts that were grown, 350 million pounds were produced. So just to give you an idea here, 540 peanuts, which I'm not sure how many pounds that is, makes a 12-ounce jar of peanut butter. So I thought that was pretty cool. So really, it wasn't until around the early 1900s when peanut production really started to take off. Growing peanuts, harvesting peanuts was difficult. They mainly grew them for oil and food and to feed livestock. But if you're familiar with a man named George Washington Carver, who was a scientist and botanist, he really started to study peanuts, and he came up with over 300 different uses of peanuts, which is pretty wild. And I have some examples here. Shoe polish, shaving cream, axle grease, insecticides, glue, soaps. There's just a number of things that we could use to make from peanuts other than just food. So I think that is pretty fascinating. So in North Carolina, there's several different types of peanuts grown throughout the 13 different states that grow peanuts. But in North Carolina, we produce what's called Virginia type peanuts. And these are the peanuts that are found what we call in shell. So if you're at a baseball game or something, the peanuts that are sold there are probably North Carolina grown peanuts, or even like cocktail peanuts that you find in the stores, probably were Virginia type peanuts. So Paige is mixing here, and it's starting to look good.
Once you've got it mixed all up, what you're going to do is just ball it into about an inch or an inch and a half, and then stick them on a plate.
Okay, so the growth and development of peanuts. So you can look at this picture here and see different labels. So peanuts are really interesting. So they're one of the only crops that flower above ground and fruit below ground. And peanuts are in the family are part of the legume family. So you may have heard this before, legumes. You might not know what that means. So legumes are able to do what we call fix their own nitrogen. This is really interesting. So basically, nitrogen is a nutrient or element that is one of the most important elements that plants need to grow. And there's nitrogen all in the air around us. But it's in a form that most plants isn't able to utilize. So a legume plant is able to take that nitrogen in the air and then convert it into a form that is plant available and the plants can grow and use from. So peanuts, they have a really deep growing root system, and on those roots are what we call nodules, and that's what takes that nitrogen and fixes it into plant available form. And then I have here on this picture, you can see the yellow flowers that eventually turn into what we call pegs. You might can see there on the photo, and those pegs start above ground and they move down the plant into the ground, and that's where the peanuts are formed. And if you didn't know that, peanuts they grow below the ground. When it's time to harvest, farmers have to use what's called diggers, and they actually dig peanuts from the ground, and they flip it over where the vines are touching the ground, and then the peanuts are up in the air, and that's the first step of harvest. And then they use what's called peanut pickers to basically just separates the peanuts from the vine and goes into a basket, and then those peanuts go to a sheller, and then they grade them, and yeah, so then we find them in the store and find them at baseball games and all different areas.
And we find them in a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, that's right. So,
all right. So here we have the finished snack. You'll just take these and pop them into the refrigerator for 20 minutes. You can also freeze them if you want them to last longer. And like I said, you can add more than this. If you really like chocolate chips, go for it. Or if you really want it to be super peanut buttery. But peanuts are an excellent source of protein in our diets. They contain more than any other nut. So if you're thinking about cashews or pecans, no, peanuts have the most. They contain vitamins and minerals that are super good for you, including fats that are unsaturated fats, which means that they're heart healthy. A little interesting tidbit is that the average child eats about 1,500 PB&J sandwiches. And Dylan and I were talking about it, and he said that he thinks he probably ate twice that many in his childhood. So you're probably getting a good source of peanut butter or protein in peanut butter as a child. Finally, peanuts have the power to create really nutritional diets for people that need food assistance. 1 in 6, peanut butter is the most required food item for them. So we have a couple questions for review. Can you name another use of peanuts other than food, other than like peanut butter protein balls? What are legumes and why are they important? Why are peanuts a great source of food to have as part of your diet? And we really hope that you enjoy this healthy snack, and we hope you learned a little bit about peanuts grown here in North Carolina. So thank you, and we will see you next time.